Hi there, and welcome to Chinese Strokes. Chinese Strokes is a module all about counting how many lines it takes to draw each Chinese character, I believe they're called. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not pretending to be an expert on either any form of kanji, Eastern character, or Chinese in general, but I can solve the module, and I will be giving you tips on how to both decipher strokes and tips on just remembering how the strokes look, more or less. So we have a plus minus display that when pressed will give the Chinese number for what's currently on the screen. This is the submit button for each stage here. And last thing it's noting is you can press the input display to reset the module in case you get a character that doesn't show up for whatever reason. But you can only do it once, just so you can't game the system by, if you get a really complex character you don't understand, just resetting over and over again. So generally Chinese strokes are used in a more calligraphic style, and generally they're all drawn pretty regularly, so to speak. The general direction, it says they're unidirectional and start from one entry point, and people should not write them in reverse. And you can see some examples of these strokes. Blah, 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 blah. What you need to know basically is that vertical strokes are drawn, for the most part, without exception, bottom to top, top to bottom rather, top to bottom. And then horizontal strokes are drawn left to right. You see all these up here. These are what are called simple strokes, or basic strokes rather. And here's more strokes and specifically their names, their meaning, all the additional descriptions. This is the part we're interested in, compound strokes. If you just look at this and count the number of horizontal and vertical lines, you might be tempted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But this symbol right here is a compound stroke. Now there are a few signifiers for this, but generally, if you have a stroke that goes left to right and then immediately moves into another stroke and has this sort of mark in it, like the beginning, you can tell where the beginnings of the stroke are because they're a little larger, sort of curved out. If you can imagine yourself drawing the line and then having to pivot and then starting a stroke down, this is all one compound stroke. So the specific definition is that a compound stroke is produced when two or more basic strokes are combined in a single stroke written without lifting the writing instrument from the writing surface, etc., etc. This specifically, there's a bunch of naming conventions for these. But this zigzag shape, or vertical, horizontal, vertical, as it's stated in the manual, is all one stroke because it can be produced without lifting your brush from the paper in this case. However, if you were to look at something like this, the only compound stroke here is this one because it all has to follow the same convention. You wouldn't draw down, then right, and then go back up and then down. Like, there's no way that would ever be one stroke because it has to follow top down, left to right, basically. But the way to look for compound strokes is to look for these little knobs, basically. And then we'll go over a few character cases where it can be a little hard to decipher what's going on. But generally, strokes will always have a start, a middle, and an end that you can look for. What I do specifically when I'm going quickly and looking at the module is I trace along the strokes like if I were actually drawing it. So let's start with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We go to 5, submit, move on to stage 2. These dots are all singular strokes. These slashes are all singular strokes. These crosses are singular strokes, so we just count the number of individual basic strokes here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Move on to stage 3. We haven't gotten any specifically hard characters here. In fact, all of these characters are just basic strokes for the most part. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Here's some complex characters. This box is very common in Chinese. And this box here is one of the characters that will most commonly throw people off. If you remember the top-down, left-to-right conventions, you'll remember that starting from a point, we wouldn't go down-up. So this has to be a stroke down. Then we can do a stroke left to right, and then there's this knob here down. And then this bottom one won't go right to left, so we have to go left to right again. However, you have to notice that this character is made of just the box, none of the stuff in the middle, is made of 3 strokes. So you have 1, 2, 3. And that box will always be made of 3 strokes. So if you see a box, it's just 3 strokes. That's one of the complex symbols. The rest of these are pretty simple to decipher. You have one long one here. These are all individual ones, so let's count these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And there's the GG on the module. I would like to look for some harder cases, so I'll handpick some, but we'll go through the first stages of a few. This is 2 strokes, of course, because you can't go bottom, top, and left to right. You have to go left, right, then top, bottom. So this is 2. Very simple case. This right here is a rare instance where you have a top, down, left, right. This is all 1 stroke. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is all 1. 7, 8, 9, 10. Here are boxes and similar boxes shapes. This little hook shape here is all 1 as well. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. These are some harder shapes. So 1, 2, that's 1 curve. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's just an extended box on the bottom. Run some more examples. A little faster. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the same box shape with 4 dots in the middle, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1. We had this one before. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Maybe not before, but something very similar to it. There's one specific shape I'm looking for. This is more boxes and compound strokes for the most part. Let's try a different one. This is 4. Get some good practice in. This is a top bottom, but you can see it all curves into 1 stroke. So this is 1, curves back with that little knob there. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that 2 symbol from earlier. 7, 8. Lots of slashes and compound strokes together. This one is a little fun to look at. You can see that this here, this may look like 1 stroke, but if you look at it carefully, it doesn't have the same width in the middle, because we talked about the beginning, middle, end section. So we have a beginning, a middle, and then a different middle. So I would posit that this stroke actually is separate from the top one here, especially since because of the big knob up here that then tapers so quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's see if I'm right. Yes. I haven't gotten this symbol, but there is a symbol that throws me off even. And it's similar to a triple compound stroke like the vertical, horizontal, vertical mentioned earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is this it? This might be it. So this is a similar looking box, but this is a triple compound stroke, I believe, where it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Whereas you can see a different box has this slash across it, and this one connects. You know, I think it's the same. I think that's just a slightly differently but drawn box, maybe skewed a little differently. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So the boxes are always going to be 3 no matter what. And we have a similar case to the one up there. So I couldn't exactly find the one case that I'm talking about, but in general, the conventions are top, bottom, left, right. Make sure to watch out for compound strokes. Just have this page open to look at things. The manual has a lot of cool information that doesn't really help on the module. The appendix is more of a catch-all just for describing Chinese strokes in general, which is fine. And we'll explore that for a second. No, we didn't get the symbol. No. No. All these are pretty easy cases if you look at them the right way. Well, I think I'll end it there then. Thank you so much for watching Chinese Strokes. If this has helped you, I'm very glad. I know this can be a difficult module for some, but with some practice you can understand it good enough to solo it potentially, or do the 4 stages pretty quickly and move on. I think it's a fun module. I think it's quite unique, and if you're interested in that sort of stuff, it gives a great intro into the CJK stroke style for Eastern calligraphy. As always, thanks for watching, and now you hopefully this tutorial has helped you understand Chinese strokes just a little bit better.